The silence in Betty's house was a constant companion. At 68, she had retired from her long-time teaching job and, a few years later, lost her husband. Her days had become a quiet, predictable rhythm of watering her plants and watching the local news. The coffee dates with her friends felt the same, their conversations often circling back to memories that seemed more vibrant than their present lives. But one evening, a local news report broke through the hum of her television. The old community library, a place where she and her husband had spent countless hours, was set to close due to a lack of funding. A wave of sadness washed over her, but it quickly gave way to a powerful spark of defiance. This couldn't be the end of the story. Not for the library, and maybe, just maybe, not for her either. Betty reached out to her friends. David, a retired accountant, was the first to answer the call. "We can't just let it go," he said, his mind already churning with numbers and possibilities. Then came Alan, a retired architect, whose hands still ached to design something new. "The building has good bones," he mused, "it just needs a new heart." Linda, a former chef, and Tom, a retired teacher, also joined the cause, their collective skills a mosaic of possibility. They weren't just saving a library, they were building a new chapter for their lives. A project they called the Second Chapter Project. The library became their second home. They sorted through thousands of books, their conversations, a mix of old memories and new ideas. David, ever the numbers man, turned his quiet accounting skills into a powerful tool for change, leading a grassroots fundraising campaign that raised far more than they had ever imagined. Alan's creative blueprint transformed the dusty halls into a modern, welcoming space with cozy reading nooks and a gleaming new cafe counter. Linda's pastries quickly became legendary, filling the air with the comforting smell of cinnamon and coffee. While Tom's classes became an instant hit. Seniors flocked to learn everything from computer literacy to Spanish, their faces alight with a newfound purpose. They faced challenges, of course. A leaky roof, a broken boiler, moments of doubt. But they worked through them, relying on each other's wisdom and strength. Their passion was infectious, and soon, younger volunteers joined them, bridging a generational gap that had long existed in the town. The library was no longer a quiet place for books, it was a vibrant hub of activity. A true community center humming with life. On the grand reopening day, the Second Chapter Book Cafe was packed. The once dusty shelves were now filled with a mix of new and old books, and the air buzzed with conversation and laughter. Betty and her friends stood proudly, watching the community they had built come to life. In a final interview with a local reporter, they shared their journey. "People think once you retire, your story is over," Betty said, her voice full of emotion. "But we found that retirement isn't an ending. It's a new beginning. We're not just older, we're wiser. And we have a lifetime of experience to build a better future." The story ends with Betty, now a regular at her own cafe, sitting by a sunlit window, a cup of coffee in her hand and a pile of new books to sort. She smiles, not at the memories of the past, but at the possibilities of the future, a future she and her friends had built with their own hands.